minute. So we started a couple of weeks ago working our way through the chakras. I, of course, forgot the book. I brought it last week, but I didn't bring it today, so you can visualize that I have a book in front of me. But we're up to number 4, so we're right in the center of where all the chakras meet. We've done the first 3. We have 3 more to go above. And as a reminder, chakra, the word itself, means a wheel or a spinning energetic disc that you don't see with your eyes. When you look at someone, it's not like you see their, I mean, some people can, but I can't see your chakras spinning in space. But once you start to learn more about them, they just reveal different parts of you. You get to experience different versions of yourself. So we're in number 4. It's the chakra of the heart. The Sanskrit name is Anahata chakra, which Anahata translates to unstruck. And the idea is, if you think of a bell or anything that makes a sound, when it's unstruck, it's almost untouched. It can last the test of time. It vibrates and has a resonance in a way that struck bells or struck objects don't. Its elemental quality is that of air. It's located in the heart, high, and lungs. And the color is not asparagus green or green bean green, which is the only green that I have. I try to color coordinate my clothes to the chakras, so I have a lot of green in there, but it is green. And I like to think of it as this very alive emerald green. If you think of being in the forest and the lush, yes, that one, and being in like a tropical forest and seeing all the different shades of green. If you think of fresh cut grass, like there's a tangible feeling to this green color. And this is the chakra where we begin to experience our ability to love and to be loved in return. It's a two-way street. And it's how we begin to relate to the other, to another person, to the communities around us, to the worlds just outside of ourselves. So we'll start in a moment. We're going to do a bunch of backbends today, big heart openers, creating space in the upper body. But the first 3 chakras that we talked about really asked us about what our internal world is. The first one was, do I have what I need to survive? Am I drinking enough water? Am I eating enough food? Am I sleeping enough? The second chakra asks you, like, what are my desires, the things that bring me joy? The third chakra, the one in the solar plexus, asks us the question, okay, now that I've answered these, what am I going to do with this information? Where does this energy start to go towards? And now number 4 starts to be like, I'm not alone in this world. I'm not alone with these thoughts. This is the place in which we begin to see even the world even bigger than just our own worlds. So as we practice today and move to some backbends, the question to ask for, or the question to ask yourself is, what can I care for more? Myself, the other, things, more rest, more movement. There's no wrong answer, but it's just a moment and a glimmer in time to check in with yourself. But big old backbends, open it up through the chest. Take breaks, drink lots and lots of water. Tell me if you want it colder. I'm going to purposely get us a little bit warm in the beginning. I know that we'll be sweating, but I promise we will recalibrate. So we'll see where it goes. But I'm really happy you guys are here. Let's start in a comfortable seat whenever you're ready, however that looks. You're more than welcome to start lying down. You're more than welcome to sit cross-legged or on your knees, on any props that you need to support you. But with your eyes softly closed or softly open, begin to listen for your breath. When we close our eyes, it gives us a moment in time to see every version of ourselves more clearly than before. Where each breath lets you dissolve the day that was. Each soft breath lets you arrive to where you are now. And each breath that comes after makes space for what has yet to come. As you continue to notice your breath, can you let it slowly begin to deepen? Letting each breath move from the nose down past your heart into your belly. And as you exhale, offer the breath up and out through the crown of your head. Continue with a few more rounds at your pace. letting each breath move in, down, and wide. And each exhale offers itself down into the earth and up and out through each direction of you. Let's start our time together, our practice with each other, with 3 more rounds of that same breath. A moment to gather your hands to center anywhere that may feel for you, perhaps on your body where this chakra resides, on the heart, or in front of your heart in a moment of self-reverence. If your hands are in Anjali Mudra, let your thumbs pull back to your chest as you lift your chest up into your thumbs. Take a slow breath in and exhale to offer all of that breath out. 2 more times on your own. At the bottom of your breath, pause for even a moment. Take notice of any difference that comes when you listen for and really remember your breath. And keeping that connection to yourself as best as you can. Let your hands release, blink your eyes open. Come forward to tabletop so we can start linking breath and movement together. I haven't seen it, but my friend Emily came to class yesterday and she messaged me after class. We did heart chakra stuff too. She said class reminded her of the Pixar movie Elemental. Has anyone seen it? I would like to know more about it before I watch it. I could also Wikipedia, but good? It's good, okay. Noted. Tabletop, just crowdsourcing. Let your hands come as wide as your mat for this first table. I know some of us have really long mats, but see what it feels like. Index fingers point ahead, and as you tuck or untuck your toes behind you, take a couple of rounds of cat and cow at your pace. Round and arch your spine, moving with your breath. Let's go for 5 or 6 rounds of breath on your own. Maybe you let your eyes soften or close so you can move from a place of what feels sweet to you, of what cares for yourself more, rather than what you think you should be doing or what others are doing around you. For these next few breaths, you might stay rounded or arched for a few cycles. You might come into child's pose, but slow down your next breath in. And big exhales to offer that breath out. Come back to table, find your neutral spine. And now keep your low half, your hips, your knees, and feet where they are. Walk your hands to the top corners of your mat, or even off of your mat onto the floorboards, and palms wider than your shoulders. Let's get long through the sides of your waist. Can you shrug your shoulders to the ears? And now as you exhale, push through your palms, stretch your hips back, and let your head get heavy to the floor or a block for puppy pose, also known as Anahata, the name of the chakra. The aim of the game is less thinking butt towards your heels, but more center of your chest, heavy to the earth. If you need any more space, bring your hands wider than they already are to give the shoulders and heart more room, but take a deeper breath in and a longer breath out through each fiber of you. Now stay bowing down in your puppy for just a moment longer. Keep your head heavy, and as you feel your palms on the mat or floor, can you push your palms down into the earth and lift just the undersides of your arms up off the ground, the forearms, the elbows away from the floor. Now as you keep the undersides of your arms lifting, push your hands down into the mat and forward to stretch your hips back 1 more inch to the wall behind you and breathe into that ounce of space that was always there. On your next inhale, push down into the palms to rise, back up to tabletop. Take a breath or 2 here, and as much time as you need, the next place we'll meet is in downward facing dog, hips to the sky. A few breaths to arrive in your first down dog. You might pedal the heels from side to side, or let the legs soften and straighten simultaneously, but offer it to your breath. And now these chakras, we often think that they're only in the front of the body, the parts of you that you see in the mirror, but they exist in the very center between the back and front. So as you feel both hands on the earth, Can you hug your hands together from side to side? Feel the energy run up the floor into the shoulder blades. And now from those shoulder blades, the back of your heart, push the floor away from you to lift your hips 1 more inch to the sky. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, offer that breath out. And now lift the heels high, soften your knees, peek forward, and 1 foot at a time, walk your feet up towards your hands to come into your forward fold. Feel free to have blocks at any height underneath your palms to bring the floor higher up to you. You might widen your feet 1 inch or 2. You might soften your knees to give your low back and hips some extra space. But take a deeper breath in and a long, steady breath out. And now hands climb up to your hips, stand through your legs, and big breath in to come up to rise. As you exhale, release your hands. With your feet under your hips, take an inhale to sweep the arms forward and up. On your exhale, soften your knees, fold over your legs. Inhale to come up halfway, reach the bottom of your heart long to the front of the room. And exhale to step it back to plank pose, the top of your push-up. Knees down or up, but push down into the palms to lift the heart. Take a big breath in and exhale to lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Bend your elbows. Inhale to rise for cobra or baby cobra. And on your exhale, we meet in down dog or table or puppy for 3 deep breaths again. So often, if you've taken class here with many of the teachers, you hear us say, the breath flows first in the direction of your heart. The heart then awakens the brilliance of your mind. And the mind inspires the full agency of your body and being. And it's from the breath where we begin first. So as you feel each inhale fill you up from bottom to top, let your exhale pour itself out and through you in each direction. When you find your next breath, lift your heels high, soften your knees, peek forward, come forward to the top of your mat, standing forward fold. Inhale to come up halfway, reach the heart long to the front of the room, and big exhale to fold, bowing in towards yourself. Take a long breath in to rise, stand through your legs, reach up to touch the sky, and exhale to let the hands come down by your sides. 1 more time, really follow your breath more than my voice. Inhale to reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. On your exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Take your entire breath to come up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. And on your exhale, step it back to plank, top of your push-up. A full breath in here, think tailbone back towards your heels. And as you exhale, bend your elbows to lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to rise for Bhujangasana, Cobra. Hug those thighs towards each other. Slide the throat back, and exhale to take it back to downward facing dog. Take a full round of breath here, and exhale out through your nose or parted lips to let that breath go. Now on your next inhale, float the right leg up and back, step it through to catch your lunge, and let's all start with the back knee down on the floor or a blanket. Come up onto your fingertips or blocks, and as you walk your left hand to the left, right palm comes to the right thigh. From your belly, turn towards that right leg, towards the brick wall. And now notice as you turn, does that left bottom shoulder come with you? Shrug the left shoulder up and back and slide the throat back. Can stay here, maybe you reach the right arm up to the sky. If you want to add a little extra oomph in the back leg, you can tuck the back toes and lift the back knee up off the floor for a lunge. But take a full breath in, down, and wide. Stay for your exhale. Can you bend into that front thigh as you turn your belly open to the right? On an inhale, unwind, lower the hands to the floor. We meet in downward facing dog. Pedal the heels from side to side, and a breath or two to notice what you feel. Float the left leg up and back. Step it through to catch your lunge. Let's all start with the back knee down on the floor. And as you walk your right hand off to the right, climb your left palm up onto your left thigh. From the belly button, turn your heart open to the left. Notice if that right shoulder comes with, shrug the right shoulder up and back, the ears back. Stay here, maybe the left arm reaches to the sky. If you did so on side one, you might tuck the back toes and lift that right knee up off the ground. But take a full breath in. Fill the belly, fill the chest. Stay for your exhale. Let yourself turn to the left as you bend into that left thigh. On your inhale, unwind. Lower the hands to the earth. We meet again in downward facing dog. Pedal the heels, a breath or two to notice. And now stay in down dog. Hug your palms together from right to left. And as you push from in between your shoulder blades through the earth, lift your hips up to the sky. Now keep hugging your hands together as you inhale forward to plank pose. Hug those palms towards each other from right to left as you exhale to lower down to the earth. Inhale to rise for cobra. Hug the hands together. Now keep the palms there as you try to drag your hands back towards your hips. Maybe the back of your heart lifts you to the sky. Take one more breath in. Exhale to release, lower down. Tuck your toes, hands under your shoulders, and now push through the floor to rise, table or plank. And exhale to take it back to downward facing dog. From your down dog, float that right leg to the sky. Bend your right knee, open up through the right hip as if you could foot high five your friend or the wall to the left. And now notice as that right leg reaches to the left, what drops to compensate. That's my left side. Push the left palm down, lift the left shoulder up, and now tack the left hip back and let the left heel get heavier towards the floor. Notice what you feel in there. Inhale to square the hips back off. Look between your hands and step it through to lunge. Big breath in to rise for high lunge. Reach up to touch the sky. Walk the right foot as much as you need to the right so you're less on a tightrope. Lift up through the back thigh. Stretch up through the fingertips. And now bend into that front leg. Hands can come to your hips. Let's come to stand. Take all the hops you need to spring off the left foot. Grow 1 inch taller as you lift the left foot up 1 more inch. And now lower both feet to the ground. Bend your knees, sit your hips back into your chair. Check to see that those knees and toes are pointing straight ahead. And as the hips get heavy, lift the heart up. Take a big breath in. Stay for your exhale. Let your hips sit 1 inch lower to the earth. Now lean into your left foot, lift your right heel, and for standing figure 4, cross your right ankle over the left thigh. Flex that right foot like it's standing on something solid. Take a big breath in, down, and wide. Stay for your exhale. Can you lift your heart and let the hips get heavier to the earth? On an inhale, come all the way to rise. Lower the right foot down, reach up through the arms, and now grab your right wrist with your left hand. Grow 1 inch taller and tip to the left for standing crescent. Take a breath into that right side of your waist. Your hips might sway to the right as you lean to the left. And now can you slide the throat and the ear lobes back? Maybe the arms come back in line with your ears as you reach up and over to the left-hand side. Big breath in, come up through center, reach up, touch the sky, and exhale to fold, bowing in. Plant your palms to the top of your mat, walk your feet to the back of your mat to take it to down dog. Just a few more times together. Wait for your inhale as you come to plank pose. Reach the heart forward. Exhale to lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to rise for cobra. Hug the thighs together, hug the palms together to lift the heart. And on your exhale, we meet again in downward facing dog. Slow down your next breath in, and big exhale to offer that breath out. And now inhale to float the left leg to the sky. For that 3-legged dog, bend your left knee, open up through the hip. And now check to see, is that left foot trying to reach to the right so much that the right side of your body dips down? Try to push through the right palm, lift your right shoulder up. And as if you had another hand in your outer right hip, tack the right hip back and let the right heel get heavy to the floor. Big inhale to square the hips back off. Look between your hands. Step it through to lunge. Inhale to rise. For high lunge. The gymnastics is happening now. Has anyone seen this on their TikTok, or is that just me? They're like doing preliminaries. Every time I'm in this pose, I'm like, it's me, Simone. I've made it on the balance beam. But if that helps you to channel, you can use it or just ignore. So take a breath, lift the back thigh, stretch up through the fingertips, look away from the ground, take a big breath in, and on your exhale, bend into that front thigh. Hands can come to your hips, take all the hops you need, spring off the right foot, grow 1 inch taller, look away from the floor, and now lower the right foot down. Bend your knees, last round of chairs, sit your hips back. As the hips go back, lift the bottom of your heart up. Take a full breath in, down, and wide. Big exhale to offer all of that breath out. And now lean into your right foot. Lift your left heel. Left ankle crosses over the right thigh. Standing pigeon. Flex that left foot, especially the pinky toes back. And as you lift your heart, maybe look 1 inch higher than where you are. Take a big breath in. Stay for your exhale. Perhaps the hips feel or get heavier towards the earth. On your inhale, we rise. Reach the arms up. Lower both feet down. Feel gravity beneath you. And now grab your left wrist. Grow 1 inch taller. Tip to the right. Standing crescent, second side. Your hips might sway off to the left. And as you tip to the right, check to see, is your chin tucked towards your chest? Press the skull back. One of my teachers says as if someone's pulling the lower earlobes back, and then maybe the arms come back in line with your ears. Inhale to come all the way back up. Reach up, touch the sky. And as you exhale, fold and bow in. Plant your palms to the top of your mat. Walk your feet to the back. Take it to down dog. And now one more time, we'll meet on our bellies. Inhale through to plank pose. As you exhale, lower all the way to the earth. Now stretch your arms alongside of you. Flip your palms to face the ground. We're going to take a moment in locust pose. First of the few back bends. Before we lift up, hug your thighs towards each other. They don't have to touch, but feel them squeeze together. Now keep that as you shrug your shoulders to your ears. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Now on your inhale, lift your head, lift your heart, float your palms up. As you exhale, let the legs lift up off the earth. Close or soften your eyes and listen for your breath. With each inhale, think inner thighs hug towards each other. Insides of your pants lift up towards the ceiling. And as you squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift your palms 1 more inch. Take a big breath in. And on your exhale, release. Lower down onto your cheek. Make a pillow with your hands if you'd like to rest on your forehead. But listen for your breath. Under the sound of your breath, you might feel for the beating of your heart. One of those aspects of you that definitely exists. The more you search for it, the harder it gets to find. So if you're on a cheek or on a palm, turn to the other side and just take 1 more full breath. Fill the belly, fill the chest. And exhale to pour that breath out through each direction. Let's come back up through center. Press yourself up through tabletop. Sit back onto your heels, sip some water, take a breath. I did turn the AC on. It is gauged, but if you'd like it colder, let me know. You're good. I asked this question yesterday in class because I don't know why this is the imagery that got in my head, but I thought Captain Planet, the cartoon, do you remember Captain Planet? For some reason I thought all the Captain, like there was heart and earth. Does anyone know this? More, yeah. I thought it came out of their chest, but now I'm conflating it with Care Bears. And so if you combine the two together, this chakra always makes me think of when we do those back bends, like Care Bear stare. Yeah, Care Bear stare / Captain Planet energy coming out of your chest. So let's do a few thigh stretches. We're going to spend some time here on our hands and our knees. So if you'd like to pad your knees up with a blanket, you can do that now. You can also bring your hands up onto blocks, but find your way to table whenever you're ready. And as you find your way to all fours, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand for this lizard lunge. Check to see that your left knee is behind your left hip. You might walk your left knee back 1 inch or 2. But as you press the left knee down, gently drag the left knee forward. So when you bend the knee, you're not on the kneecap, you're more on the bottom of the thigh. Take a few breaths here, or with your right hand heavy on the block or floor, let the left hand reach around for the left foot, or lasso a strap around the foot. So same foot, same hand, or you can do the opposite. But as you have a hold, the foot, the heel, the leg of your pants, think left tush back towards your left heel. And now slide the ribs back. Notice what that does in your left thigh. As you shrug the left shoulder up and back, lift your chest. Stay here. If you want to play with some balance, you might climb your right palm up onto your right thigh. You might reach your right hand out and around to give the left leg a hug. Take a big breath in, down, and wide. Stay for your exhale. Let the right thigh get heavier as you lift your heart away from the earth. And now on your next breath, with care, release that leg, plant your palms, take it back to tabletop. And a few breaths here, maybe in stillness, a few breaths in cat and cow. Take notice of what you feel. And we'll do the seconds. All fours, left foot to the outside of your left hand. Check to see that that right knee, instead of directly under your hip, is further behind it. And now hug the knee forward, bend your knee as you lift the right toes up off the floor. Stay here a few breaths, or the left hand roots down into your block or the ground as your right hand reaches around for the right foot. I did this exact same pose yesterday. Amy was in class, a few of you were in class. It feels like I have never done it before. This thigh is full of rocks. So take a few breaths as you arrive. You can explore your balance, left palm to the left thigh, or reach your left hand around to reach for the right foot. But take a full breath in, down, and wide. Stay for your exhale, slide the ribs back, lift the heart up, and maybe let that left thigh get heavier to the earth. On an inhale, slowly release the hold of your leg. Come back to all fours, table. And now this time, clear blocks if you have them. Come onto all fours. One more thing on the knees. Walk your hands to come as wide as your mat if they're not already. With your index fingers pointing ahead, stretch the right leg back behind you. Press the right toes into the earth. And now lift the right foot up off the ground. Notice as you lift the right leg, do the belly and ribs drop like mine always do? Belly and ribs to the sky, push down into the floor. And now bend your right knee as you flex the foot to make a perfect footprint on the sky. Stay here, tent up onto your left fingertips. Play with that asymmetry. Or your left hand might reach out and around to reach for the right foot, the toes, or the leg of your pants. Look down to help with your balance. And now squeeze, hug the right thigh to the left, shrug the left shoulder up and back. And as you push your foot back into your hand, lift the right heel up. Let the belly and chest turn open to the left. Big breath in. Stay for your exhale. On an inhale, release arm and leg. Come back to table and find a breath here on the ground. Twisted half bow. Twisted half bow. I don't know why I said it like that, but twisted half bow. Side two, stretch the left leg back, hands as wide as your mat. And as you lift the left foot up, see if you can look beyond your fingertips to the top of your mat. Now bend your left knee, flex the foot, lift the belly and ribs up, lift the left heel up, and come up onto your right fingertips. Stay exactly where you are for more steadiness. Or to explore some balance, the right hand might reach around to reach for the left foot. Look down to steady your gaze. And now hug the left thigh to the right, to the middle of your mat. Shrug that top right shoulder up and back. And as you push your foot back into your hand, lift the left heel up. Let that turn your belly to the right. Big breath in. Stay for your exhale. And then inhale to release arm and leg to the earth. Take a few breaths here on the ground. And when the time comes, we'll meet again in downward facing dog, hips to the sky. From your down dog, pedal the heels. A breath or two to notice what you feel. And now float the right leg up and back. Step it through to catch your lunge. Pivot your back heel to the earth. And as you breathe in, come up to rise for warrior two. That's it. Check to see that the right knee is pointing ahead, the right toes are pointing ahead. And as you find your breath, take a big breath in, down, and wide. Stay for your exhale. Bend into that front thigh as you lift your heart. Look away from the ground. Now reach both arms up to the sky. Bend your right elbow. Give yourself a pat on the back of your heart. Let the left fingertips reach onto the right elbow. Elbow to the ceiling. Head goes back to lift your chin. Then ribs back. Stay right here, more upright. Or we've done a side stretch or two already. If you'd like to tip up and back, you can. But take a full breath in. Stay for your exhale, bend into that right thigh, and now guide your right knee open towards your pinky toes. Nice, Kale. Take a deep breath in, a longer breath out. And now inhale to come up through center, arms to a T, push the right leg straight. Get long in each direction. Triangle pose, right fingertips to your block or the floor, in or outside of that front foot. Once the right hand touches something solid, feel both feet on the ground again. Squeeze your legs together from front to back. And now push down into that right arm to reach the left arm 1 more inch to reach for the ceiling fans above you. Lean back. Take a big breath in through the nose. Stay for your exhale as you offer all of that breath out. And now look down to the ground. Bring your hands to the earth. Take it back to downward facing dog, hips to the sky. From your down dog, walk your feet 1 inch or 2 closer towards your wrists. And now pivot both heels to the left, all 10 toes to the right. You're going to step your right foot halfway forward in between your mat. So for this version of supported side plank, left hand stays on the ground, right hand comes up onto your hip as you open up to the brick wall side of the room. Good. Push into the right foot, lift your hips higher. Push the left palm down and forward to turn your chest open to the right. Care Bear. Take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale. Maybe the right arm stays on your hip or reaches to the sky or begins to reach towards the floorboards in front of your mat. And now look down to the ground. Bring your palms to the earth. Take it back to downward facing dog. Pedal the heels, a breath or 2 to notice. And now 1 more side. Float the left leg to the sky. Step it through to catch your lunge. Back heel comes down. Inhale to rise. Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. Good. Take a breath to feel both feet on the ground. See if you can look away from the floor. And now bend into that front thigh. Reach both arms up to the sky like you're grabbing the air between your hands. Bend your left elbow. Give yourself a pat on the back. And let the right fingertips hold on. Elbow up towards the ceiling. Head back to lift your chin. Ribs back. Stay right here. Or as you continue to breathe, tip up and back towards the back of the room. Big breath in. Stay for your exhale. Bend into that left thigh and try to guide your left knee open towards those pinky toes. Nice, Sophie. Inhale to come all the way back up. Arms to a T. Push through the left foot. Straighten the leg. Triangle. Left fingertips. Block or floor. In or outside of that leg. As those feet squeeze in towards each other, as if the right foot is pulling forward and the left foot is pulling back, feel that energy run up the ground into the hips. And now push down into that left arm, reach up through the right fingertips, and lean back against the back of your heart. Big breath in. Stay for your exhale. And then inhale to unwind, lower the hands to the earth. Take it back to downward facing dog. Notice what you feel. 1 more side. Walk your feet 1 inch or 2 closer towards your wrists. Pivot your heels to the right and toes to the left. And now step your left foot halfway forward to the middle of your mat. As you lift your hips high, left hand to your left hip, face the other side of your mat for the supported side plank. Push through both feet to lift your tush higher. Push the right palm down and forward to turn your chest open to the left. Big breath in. Stay for your exhale. Maybe reach the left arm to the sky or overhead towards the floorboards in front of your mat. Now on an inhale, unwind, lower the hands. Take it back to downward facing dog. Pedal the heels and take notice of what you feel. Now lower the knees to the floor. Sit back onto your heels. Take a few more sips of water as needed. Toast? Too toasty? Toasty? Okay. So, I promised some back bends, right? If we count rights and lefts, I have 7 more in my agenda. We'll see how many we get to. But the first one, I know, the first one that we're going to experiment with is coming from side plank to this version of wild thing. Then we'll get some therapy balls in the thighs, belly down back bends, and then back bends on our back. I told you in the beginning. There'll be time to rest. So wild thing is a pose you might have seen before in class, and there's many different versions of it, and I just want to show you and give you some options of versions to do. This is the one where you pivot your heels to one side, one foot steps behind, and then you flip over. This is not what it looks like, but hopefully it looks somewhat familiar. So I want you to check out the legs. There's a version where one leg is straight and one leg is bent, and as you lift the hips high, that's when you can start to turn your chest open. I like this one. I also don't love this one because when my legs are not symmetrical, I feel a little crick in the low back. So the option I want to give you is if you like this version, please take it. But I want you to try and parallel your feet like you would in tabletop. And then as you push through your legs push into the earth to lift yourself up. Maybe you look to the floor, see the floor, touch the floor, and then come back. And then the knees bend a lot to flip yourself back to downward facing dog. So I showed those 2 versions, one knee bent, one leg's, I don't know why I do this with the hands, but hopefully it makes sense. One knee bent, one leg straight. See if you like that one. But I find if there's any low back stuff happening, parallel your feet, bend your knees a lot, and then you push through your legs to lift your hips up. And this is going to help us in Urdhva Dhanurasana when we do it again a little later. You want to try it? You can try it. You can observe. You can be on your back, on your belly, a couple of breaths to rest. But we'll do one on each side, and then we roll. So find your way to down dog. I'll talk you through it. Hips to the sky. Clear any things off the sides of your mat, like blankets or things. Just give yourself some room. And now from your down dog, we're just here for a breath. Let's pivot both heels to the right and all 10 toes to the left. Now step your left foot behind your right towards the brick wall. Either keep the right leg straight if you want, or parallel your feet, bend your knees, point all 10 toes to the wall behind you, and now push through the power of your legs to lift your hips up to the sky. Curl yourself up and back. Left hand can come to your heart. It can reach to the sky. You might look to the floor. You might touch the floor. And then you got to come back. Bend your knees. Flip yourself back over to downward facing dog. Wahoo! Yeah? Lower the knees. Thoughts, dreams, concerns, questions, yogic related that I can answer? The hand? The hand is the question. I saw you, it was like a half and half mix. Some of you did straight leg, some of you did bent leg. But Guy's question was like, what's going on with this hand? The hand that's on the floor? Full pretzel. I always like to start with the thumb facing more to the front of the room. And when your thumb faces more to the front of the room, it helps you bring this bottom shoulder up and back. Instead of, no one's hands are like this, but as if your hand was supposed to come here, it gets a little harder to find space in the chest. So thumb more forward, shoulder up and back. And then, yeah, I saw you going into it. There's a version, keep the hand where it is for this version of Urdhva, and then come back. Yeah. So you want to seal that palm down onto the floor. You want to try the other side? Do the other side. If you did straight leg, do straight leg again. If you did bent, do bent leg again, just so that you stay even on both sides. So down dog, a breath or two. Take notice of the ground beneath. If you want to turn that left thumb to face more to the front of the room, go for it. But pivot your heels to the right, toes to the left. Step your right foot back behind your left foot. And now either keep the left leg straight or bend your knees, parallel your feet, push through the legs to reach your heart towards the front of the room. Think push through the legs to reach your heart forward. Breathe in there. Look to the floor. Touch the floor, see the floor, say hi to the floor, and then you gotta come on back. Bend the knees again. Flip yourself back. Downward facing dog.
My arm is down. Oh,
there it is. Yes, and then you come back. I know. It gets weird upside down. I think the thumb forward works better for me because it's less of a big rotation in the shoulder. Yeah. And then when you're upside down, you're like, I get confused.
When you rotate, you have to balance off on.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Popular demand, we want to sit down. Can you come to lay on your bellies? Let's get some therapy balls in there. Does anyone need therapy balls? Nikki can bring some over to you. You can take them out of their tote. We'll just use one. Slither all the way onto your belly. And let's start off in the thighs to begin. So one of those therapy balls will come right above your right knee at the bottom of your right thigh. Make a pillow with your hands. Get as comfortable as you can. Rest on your forehead or on one of your cheeks. And then begin to bend and straighten the right leg. Do that a few times. Let the knee bend and straighten. And now the next time you bend your right knee, let it stay bent. And move the knee to the right and foot to the left. So you come to the inside of your thigh, and then knee to the left and foot to the right. So you come to the outside of your thigh. Do that a few times at your pace. Letting your breath find its way back to you. Slow down the next breath in. And exhales to offer all of that breath out. So after a few breaths at the bottom of your right thigh, let's come up a little higher. You can use your hand to pull the therapy ball up to the middle of your leg. Or if you wiggle yourself back like a little worm, it rolls itself up the leg. But however you get there, middle of the thigh, rest on the other palm or on the other cheek. Let that left leg be long behind you. And then on your own, bend and straighten the knee. And let the knee go from left to right. I don't think I mentioned it these past 3 weeks, but all of the chakras also have shadow sides to them. So each chakra has a definition of what it's about. But there's also what happens when they're either in excess or when they're more inactive. And so if chakra 4 that we're working on today is all about our ability to love, to be loved in return, the elemental quality is that of air. The shadow side to this chakra is that of grief, of loss. And one of the teachers that I had when she was describing this, she says grief has a very palpable heaviness to it. It's a weighty feeling in your body and being. And what happens when that weight sits on the lightness of air? It swallows it whole. So learning about chakras, thinking about chakras isn't a practice of ridding yourself of the shadows of them. It's getting to be acquainted with them, to become familiar and to see what they do to influence the energies themselves. So after a few breaths in the middle of your thigh, we'll do some more therapy ball work in the later end of class. You can pop it out. Before we go to the second side, stretch your legs behind you, close your eyes for even a moment, and take stock of what you feel from one leg to the other. Sometimes for some of us, it's a very drastic difference. For others, it's more subtle, but whatever the shift feels like, take a moment to notice it, to feel it, an energetic difference. And as we find the second side, at your pace, you can take the therapy ball right above the left knee at the bottom of your left thigh. Get as comfortable as you can in the upper body, pillow, cheek, forehead, and begin on your own with the knee bent or straight. The knee goes to the left and to the right as you listen for your breath. Take a deep breath in through the nose And every exhale, open your mouth to let that breath go. Continue with your breath. Each inhale in and long, clear breaths out. Now, when you've spent enough time on the bottom of your thigh, come up slightly higher to the middle of your leg, somewhere different than where you were. Other palm or other cheek, as you let the knee bend and straighten. Knee goes to the left and knee goes to the right. Breathing. If you haven't made it to the middle of your thigh yet, spend some time in the middle. And if you've spent a few breaths in the middle of your thigh, when the time comes, pop the therapy ball out, stretch those legs behind you. And can you notice what you don't see with your eyes, but you can very clearly feel from one leg to the other? Take a big breath in, as if your breath could go into the legs, wrap around those legs and thighs, and exhale to open your mouth to let all of that breath go. Okay, so we're going to take what we just did in those thighs and find 3 rounds of back bends here on the floor, Dhanurasana. Asterisks, you're more than welcome to stay lying here on the floor the whole time. We'll meet you there very soon. There's options for bow pose to work towards that we've already done before. So we'll start when the time comes. You can bend your knees, reach your arms back alongside of you like locust, flip your palms down. Stay here in the unbound version, or reach your hands around for your feet. Before we lift, press your thighs down into the floor, hug your thighs towards each other from side to side. Now push your feet back into your hands if you're holding them, lift your heels up to the sky, and as you slide the shoulder blades together, lift your chest up. Close or soften your eyes and listen for that breath. With each inhale, hug your inner thighs towards each other where those therapy balls were. As you exhale, push the feet back, lift your heels up and slide the throat back. Take one more breath in, and on your exhale, release. Rest on your cheek, rest on your forehead. Take a breath here on the ground and notice what you feel and see from side to side. Take another full, deep breath in and a long, clear, steady exhale out. And now for the second round, we'll set up for round 2. You can bend your knees, bring your feet on the, flex your feet. Either let the hands be unbound, palms on the earth, or reach your hands back for the feet or the ankles. Sometimes what happens is those knees and thighs open to the sides. Hug your inner thighs towards each other. And now as you inhale, push your feet back, lift your heels up to lift the heart. Close or soften your eyes. Hug your inner thighs towards each other. Push the legs back, lift the heels up to slide the throat back. Take a full breath in. Stay for your exhale as you lift the heart, and then slowly release, lower all the way to the earth. Close your eyes, rest on your forehead or cheek, and listen for that breath. Take a deeper breath in, and a long, steady exhale out through every direction, every fiber of you. Okay. All right. Last round. Press yourself up through tabletop for a moment. Sit back onto your heels. I want to give you another option of what to choose. And then we're going to flip over onto our backs after this. So Dhanurasana, bow pose. For those of us that are together in October is often when I teach the stories of the goddess. That's when her holiday comes around. And she's known, the warrior goddess, one of the weapons that she holds in her hand is a bow and arrow. And the story goes is that the bow and arrow that she strikes never, it always strikes its aim. It always achieves where it's about to go. So this pose, bow pose, yes, big heart opener, big belly down back bend, but also so much more in the mythological stories. It creates this energy, this focus to be able to find the direction that you're looking to move towards. So I want to give you an option that some of you might have done before with the blanket underneath your belly. You can try it, and if you don't like it, you can ditch the blanket. But what it looks like is the blanket comes above your pubic bone, below your breastbone, along your belly itself. You're creating like a little shelf to lift up off of. You bend your knees and reach your hands back for your feet. Now the action is when the knees and thighs go out, that's usually when you start to feel it in the low back. So you really want to hug those thighs together. Then as you push your feet back to lift the heart, for this version you're on a little shelf, thighs press down, not like that, but I'm just giving the action. Thighs press down, and as the thighs press down, it creates more space to lift up through the heart. And then I'll give you the suggestion of right leg back into the right hand to lift the right heel up, left leg back into the left hand to lift the left heel up, and then both legs back into your hands to lift the heels up to create more space. Huh? Contortion. Is it? That's a pose to me like dancer pose, where in my head, the picture I have is my feet are going to rest on my head. But when I look at a picture that I take of myself, it's like feet are over here and my upper body is there. But the point is, space here is what we seek. If you feel it in the low back at any point, you got to squeeze those legs together. That's what's going to give you space in there. Yeah? So you can try it with the blanket. If you don't want to use the blanket, go ahead and ditch it. But you might fold the blanket up a few folds and then come to lay down onto it. So it's slightly above your pubic bone, below your ribs, or any other place that suits you. You can explore. Now once you're down on the blanket, bend your knees, flex your feet, reach your hands back to hold your legs. Before we lift up, squeeze those thighs together. Squeeze them in. And now push your feet back, lift your heels up to lift your heart. Press the thighs down into the floor. And as you push your thighs down, hug your inner thighs towards each other. Push the right leg back into your right hand, lift the right heel up 1 more inch. Push the left leg back into your left hand, lift your left heel up 1 more inch. And now hug your thighs together, push both legs back to lift the heels up, lift your heart, big breath in. And on an exhale, release on your cheek, on your forehead, on your belly, wherever you'd like to be. You might stay still or wiggle your tush from side to side. Offer it to your breath. And now one great counter pose for these belly down back bends is coming to one final down dog of class to feel all those curves back through the spine. So when the time comes, make your way to downward facing dog, last one. Walk your feet a centimeter wider than they already are. Lift your heels and soften your knees to let the backs of your legs release. Now stick your butt up and back towards the wall behind you. As you stick your tush to the sky, slide the ribs back, stay here, or if you'd like to move the legs to straight, press the thighs back and let the heels get heavier to the earth. Big belly breath in. Stay for your exhales. You offer that breath out. And now lower the knees to the earth. Come into your seated straddle, if you could. Let's all face Nikki, so conveniently placed. Face the right side of your mat into a seated straddle. And you might need all of your props with you, your strap, a blanket, perhaps a block. So as you come into this Upavishta Konasana, bring one or both hands to your low back and give yourself a little self-assessment moment. You might have your hands rounding into your low back like mine always does. So I like to sit up onto the edge of that blanket to create a little perch, a little shelf, to find length through the low back. And now once you find your seat, bend your right knee, draw your right heel towards your right inner thigh. Find your strap. You can unlasso it from its hairband and loop it around your left foot. Give yourself enough slack on the strap so you can sit up nice and tall. Feel the spine long. And now with one hand holding either edge of the strap, bend your left elbow either to a block on the inside of your left leg or to the floor on the inside of your left thigh. Once the left elbow touches down, right hand holds the strap and let your right arm Right elbow reach towards the ceiling, like you're making a little window frame for you to peek through. As you offer it to your breath, every inhale, can you let your chest grow longer towards those left toes? As you exhale, press your left elbow down to turn your heart open to the sky. Continue with the breath. Each inhale, can the crown of your head, your chest, grow longer towards those left toes? Each exhale, left elbow down to revolve your belly open to the sky. And now stay leaning to the left. Change nothing in your torso. Drop both edges of the strap into your bottom left hand and stretch your right fingertips beyond your left toes. Anchor your right butt cheek down towards the earth. Reach through the right fingertips. And now turn your right palm to the sky and a big inhale to come up and all the way out. Hee. Switch sides. Straighten the right leg, bend your left knee, find your strap.
Can Durga hit the moon?
What's that?
Can Durga hit the moon?
Hanuman, she can, but she doesn't need to because the moon is not a demon. Yes. So as you find your strap, Gee's question was, can Durga, the warrior goddess, hit the moon? And I bet you she could, but I don't think she needs to because the sun and the moon are all heroes in the story, and she only eats the demons.
So wherever the demon is.
Yeah, but the land doesn't get destroyed, just the demon gets destroyed. Yeah. October, it's like millions of years away, but it'll come up soon. So let's find the strap if you haven't already. Lasso it around the right foot. Get nice and tall. Lift the chest. And now with your hands holding either edge of the strap, bend your right elbow to the floor or a block inside your right leg. Let your left elbow bend up towards the ceiling. And now picture like you're making a little frame for your torso and chest to poke through. With your left hand holding the strap, you might inchworm your left fingertips down the strap towards that right foot. They don't have to touch. But as you tug your strap apart, slide the throat back, the ears back. Continue with that breath, a deep belly breath in, and long, steady exhales out. And now stay leaning over to the right. Drop both edges of the strap into your bottom right hand. Stretch your left fingertips beyond your right toes. Anchor your left butt cheek down to the earth. Reach through the left hand. And now turn the left palm to the sky and a big breath in to come up and all the way out. Release your legs. Come to lie on your back with your heads up towards me. Feet to the wall behind you. Have your therapy balls within a grabbable distance and have one of your blocks within a reachable distance too. So once you're on your back, bend your right knee, hug your right knee in towards your chest, give it a squeeze. Make some circles with that right foot or the right ankle in one or the other direction. Take a big breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, straighten the left leg long out in front of you. Let your left hand hold the right leg and spill that right leg to the left for the supine twist. You might bring a block or two underneath that right thigh to lift the floor high up to meet you. But let that right shoulder get heavier to the earth. Let the back of your head soften to the ground. As you listen for your breath, take a deep belly breath in. And stay for your exhales. Can the belly spin from left to right, letting the right side of you soften to the ground? Take the same breath in through the nose and big exhale out through the nose or mouth. Now on your next inhale, unwind, uncross your legs, draw the right leg back through center. Give the left leg a hug in towards your belly or in towards your chest. Make any and all circles with that left foot or ankle. Big breath in. And as you exhale, straighten the right leg. Let the right hand hold the left thigh and twist to the other side, left leg to the right. This was one of the first poses we did, a twisted lunge. But in the supine twist, can you feel the left shoulder and the right shoulder get heavy to the ground? Let the back of your head soften to the earth. As you take a full breath in through the nose and exhale to clear every drop of that breath out. Take another breath in and big exhale to offer every ounce of that breath out. Draw the left knee back through center, lower both feet to the ground. And now with your feet on the earth, we'll come into a few breaths in supported bridge pose. So with feet on the floor, knees bent. Bend your elbows, shrug your shoulders to the ears, and wiggle those shoulder blades together. Push through your feet to lift your hips up off the ground. And now slide a block at its lowest or second lowest height underneath your tush. If you'd like to come up higher, you can. You might just stack both blocks on top of each other for more surface area. But once your hips land on the block, let your hands rest either on your body, on your hips, on your ribs, on your heart, or they might come alongside of you to the earth. But can you shrug both shoulders to the ears, snuggle the shoulder blades towards each other, and let the back of your head press down into the ground so there's space between your chin and your chest. Listen for that breath. The breath that flows first in the direction of your heart. The heart that ignites and awakens the mind. And the mind that fully inspires the brilliance of your body. As you take a longer breath in, let it fill you up completely. Stay for your exhale, let your hips get heavier into the block as the heart fills with breath. On your next inhale, push through your feet just enough to lift your hips, slide those blocks out from underneath you, and lower your tush back to the earth. I'm going to talk us through therapy balls in the upper back. I'll give you some options. If there's any other region that you prefer, that your body is craving, please feel free to take this time to work at your pace. Or you can set up early for rest. We'll meet you there momentarily. But for the upper back therapy ball work, you can keep them in their tote or take them out, up to you. Lift your head and shoulders up off the ground to pop the therapy balls in between your shoulder blades. Think either side of your spine, either side of the space between the shoulder blades themselves. And let your head get heavy, perhaps onto the floor, or to alleviate any pressure, you can bring your head up onto a block like a pillow. But listen for your breath, a slow breath in through the nose, and open your mouth to let every drop of that breath go. Let the exhales become longer. And the longer the exhales become, the heavier you might become. So those therapy balls find their way into the space between the shoulder blades. You can stay right here for a few breaths. Or you might, with your knees bent, feet on the ground, press through your feet to roll your body towards the front of the room until the therapy balls come down your back a few inches to the middle of the shoulder blades, slightly lower than before. Bring any blocks with you if you have them, but take a big breath in and open your mouth to let that breath out. Your hands can stay exactly as they are, or to explore any gentle movement, you might reach your arms to the sky and move them almost like seaweed in water, or just watching for neighbors above and around you. You might reach one arm towards the front of the room while the other reaches to the ceiling, and switch like you're doing the slowest segmented backstroke in a pool. But deep belly breaths in, long, clear exhales out. Now when the time comes, lower your arms to the earth. And one more time, if you'd so choose, press through your feet. Roll your body another few inches to the front of the room until those therapy balls come down your back to the bottom tips of your shoulder blades, the very back of your heart, where this three-dimensional Anahata chakra resides. Not just in the front, not just in the sides, but in the very back of your body and being, where we hold so much more than we ordinarily think. So as you take a long, steady breath in, open your mouth to offer every drop of your breath out. And now to make that slow exit journey out, you can either scooch yourself back towards the back of the room, hips towards your heels, so you feel those therapy balls come up your back, or you might roll over to one side, push them out of the way, and come to lay back down on the ground. But however they come out, do let them exit. Drape your upper back onto the earth and take a breath or two into where the memory of those therapy balls were. The next place we'll find ourselves is we'll meet in your pose of rest. So this is your time to add, remove any layers or props. You might let your hair down. You might let your glasses set safely off to the side. But as you find your way down onto the earth, I'll talk us through a few rounds of pranayama, of some breath work, to prepare the body for rest. I invite you to follow along at your pace, or simply listen as you find the cadence of your breath. But for this interrupted or suspended breath called Viloma Pranayama, you'll begin by taking a breath in through the nose, past your heart into your belly, and exhale to offer all of that breath out. Take another breath in, down and wide. And as you exhale, pour the breath out through each direction of you. Now with the lips closed, inhale in 3 separate parts. First, fill just your belly, pause. Fill your lungs, the sides of your waist, hold. Fill into your heart, the back and front, pause. And as you exhale through the nose, offer all of that breath out. Hold at the bottom of your breath for a moment. Begin again. Inhale, the belly expands. Pause. Fill the lungs next. Hold. Fill the front and back of your heart. Pause. And exhale through the nose to let every drop of that breath go. Hold at the bottom. As you inhale, fill the belly, retain. Fill the lungs, hold. Fill the heart, pause. And exhale through the nose to let every drop of that breath go. Twice more, following your breath. Inhale, the belly expands, retain. The lungs fill next, hold. The back and front of your heart fills, pause. And exhale through the nose to let that breath go. Hold at the bottom, final round. Inhale, belly fills, pause. The lungs fill next, gently hold. Fill into the heart, pause. And exhale through the nose to offer that breath out. Without any counts or pauses, take a breath. Fill the belly, the heart, the throat, the crown of your head. And as you exhale to let all of that breath go, begin to find the slow cadence of your breath. where each breath that you take flows in the direction of the heart, where that Anahata chakra resides, the color of emerald green, the place in which we experience love and how to be loved in return. As you let each cycle of your breath soften you further into the earth, the heavier you let yourself become, the more spacious and lighter you just may begin to feel. Begin to deepen your breath. Take a longer breath in and a sweeter breath out. Take another breath in, down, and wide. And as you exhale, pour that breath out, heartfelt in each direction. Let your breath begin to awaken the body that you're in and the very being that you are as you begin to move in ways that just feel sweet to you. You might roll your wrists or ankles in one or the other direction. Perhaps you tip your head from side to side, heavy against the ground. Just watching for neighbors and props around you. Perhaps you reach your arms away from your legs or draw your knees in towards your chest. But take a long breath in and a clear, full breath out. And as you reach one or both arms overhead, bend your knees and roll to any side of your choice to coil into yourself. Push down into the ground and come up to rise to a tall seat, the same way we began. With your eyes softly closed or open, can you once again listen for that breath? A breath goes in past the heart, down into your belly to fill you up, and exhale to pour the breath up and out in every direction of you. Anahata chakra, the color of green, the unstruck, the elemental quality of air, asking us the question, what can I care for more with? So as we finish our time here with each other, with one more of those breaths, you can place your hands to center, anywhere that may feel for you. Take a deep breath in to let it all go. You might bow your head to your hands or lift your hands towards your head in such a simple yet sincere gesture of self-reverence, bowing to your heart and the hearts of one another who practiced right alongside next to yours. And with all of our hearts, Nikki and I bow to each and every one of you all. Thank you so much for coming and being here. Thank you. Drink lots of water. Enjoy seemingly cool weather. Next week we do chin stand. We're in the throat. And no one has told me to not do that one. So you have a week between now and Chakra 5 where we'll be doing some chanting, soft, optional, and moving in towards chin stand. Then it's balance for number 6, headstand and meditation for number 7, and then we're done. And then who knows what's going to happen next. But I hope to see you. Otherwise, there's also a great lineup of other classes on every other day of the week if any of these aren't your thing. Huh? And beginning of Pride Month. There's so much stuff happening. Pride is this Sunday. There's events happening in Philly. I have to find what they are on the internet. And I will tell you about them. Unrelated, but related. My sweet dad is here for another month, and we're doing another yoga and tabla class on the solstice on June 21st. So he plays the tabla, the Indian drums. I teach the class. He's here, I'm here. It's a nice time. I should really write something down to tell you about this instead of me just blabbering, but we have a great time. So would love if you could come. It's a Friday, it's in the evening, it's all on the internet. 2 chirmolays for the price of 1 is the tagline that you get. So if you're around and if you know anyone who'd be interested, come through.